Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having me here today. So Esri has a long history of innovation. Since the company's inception in 1969, the company has continued on a path of developing new technology through passion for GIS, ideas coming from our customers and being challenged by our customers, especially Milind. He challenges us all the time to innovate. But a real pillar of our company is actually around innovation. And actually, Esri commits 30% of its revenue every year back into research and development for its products. That percentage of our revenue is actually ahead of Amazon and Microsoft in terms of how much money and investment we commit back into our technology. So innovation for us is a key driver of our technology and our passion for our company. But we recognise that we need to go beyond our company to look for new ideas and to look for a community where there's a lot of energy, a lot of new ideas, and somewhere where not only we can grow our technology, but we can help newcomers to the industry to grow as well. So around 2.5 years ago, Esri created a startup program where we would provide technology, mentoring around business and technology development for startup communities in the United States and around the world. It has been an incredibly successful program, with adoption in the US and in the region as well, just going through the roof. We have startup programs established in Japan, in Australia, and New Zealand. We're starting one in China probably within the next few months. But one of our most mature and one of our strongest startup programs is actually being created by Esri India, right here in India. It's gone from strength to strength, and it has highlighted the exact energy and passion for geospatial technology that we hope would be created with the program. So congratulations to Esri India and all of our startup partners in this region. So thanks very much for that. Now, Esri India weren't just happy to go along with the startup program. They actually thought, right, how can we challenge our startup community even further? So they partnered with the Department of Science and Technology and a number of other partners in terms of incubators and the startup community, so D-Hub, the India Angel Network. And they said, right, how are we going to challenge our startup community to take this further? And they've come up with the idea of the Geo Innovation Challenge. So the Geo Innovation Challenge is a challenge or a competition for startups in India to bring their technology forward, and it's an idea to help them to go to market and find investment, but also provide mentoring to help them get to market. So through Geo Innovation, this is the first time something like this has been offered in the geospatial industry in India. It's a huge achievement. There were 40 entries. There are over 20 finalists, 13 of which of those presented yesterday to a panel of venture capitalists and Esri India and Esri staff. It was an amazing day. We've narrowed the field down, and we're lucky enough to have many of those guys in the audience today. But before we come to announcing the winners of the Geo Innovation Challenge, what we're going to do is have actually two of the finalists come to the stage and talk about their product, their company, and where they're going into the future. So I'd like to introduce the first of those, and the company is SATA. So Bhaskar, if you could come to the stage. He's going to talk about their product, Data on Maps, which looks at SAP and integration of ArcGIS for business. So while Bhaskar's getting set up there, I'll just talk about some of the finalists. You'd be interested to know that a lot of the finalists, not just simple applications of GIS, a lot of the finalists are looking at artificial intelligence, machine learning, business system integration. There's a whole raft of actual technologies and that the guys have been working on. It's actually incredible. Some of the proposals that were talked about yesterday and I've seen this morning, some of the best that I've seen in the region. So it's hats off to the community here. So it looks like Bhaskar's ready to go. You right to go, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good to go.
Can you hear me now? Thank you, Brett. Good afternoon, everyone. At Sartha, we have developed a product we call Data on Maps. What it does is it brings the information of where part of the enterprise and the what part of the enterprise information together to produce incredible savings and increase productivity for businesses. So what does it do and how does it do? We'll see some glimpses of that today. So in terms of what this platform does is to integrate SAP and ISRI together, in many areas. One of the areas that we are going to see today is what we call Spatial Job Scheduler. So what we have done with Spatial Job Scheduler is to reimagine the scheduler's workbench to solve the problem of creating an optimum schedule for the field crew. So this is how it looks, where the information of where, which is the job location and the resource location of the enterprise, is being shown on the map for the scheduler to get a visual look at it. And same goes with the jobs as well. And the what part of the information in terms of what activities needs to be done and the resource availability, the qualifications that the resource has to perform the job clearly comes from SAP. Now, does it mean this is just about visualization? Absolutely not. As you can see, that the ERP operations itself is actually being done on the map. The scheduler just has to choose the field crew and the job that he has to perform. That's it. That is where you are doing your assignment of the work for the field crew to be taken care of. So in that sense, this is not just about visualization. These are living and breathing maps taking care of the enterprise operations, and the enterprise operations are actually driven. So obviously you can see that the assignment can be done from the Gantt chart as well. Now what's the value that organizations get out of this? So there is a reasonable amount of unaccounted travel time when it comes to completing jobs. So with doing the assignment on the maps itself, it's now possible that organizations not only are having effective and optimal travel routes, but the travel time on how much in fact has been spent for completing that job is accounted financially. So that's the most important aspect when it comes to managing the travel time efficiently and effectively. What you're also seeing in front of you are operational reports within SAP, like looking at the assets, the jobs, and users having the capability to analyze and understand the time and the location dimension of the enterprise information at the same time with one go. So all these things, what does it do? So ultimately, in summary, if we have to brief it up, with this one single component of what we have seen, it reduces the travel time, which translates into savings, and obviously the field crew's productivity has dramatically increased. So we have seen that this is one small example of what this integration of the master in managing the ERP operations, which is SAP, and the master of managing the information of where, which is ISRI, when they come together, what are the things that it can do? So, and therefore, we have actually built this entire solution as a platform where the application is not just limited to asset management or real estate management or customer relationship management. So it has got a wide variety of implications. In fact, almost all the modules of SAP can be enabled using this platform. So just not the platform, we are also delivering the use cases along with it, and these are the use cases that you are seeing in front of you today. And from an industry vertical application, it's not just one utilities or public sector organization in terms of managing the parks, the roads, the pavements, the garbage collection, or the drainage lines. The implications or the applications of this is limitless. So ultimately, with this product, what we have tried to do is to remove any line of delineation between the where and the what part of the enterprise information and give ability for users to move from one piece of the information to the other seamlessly. That's it from my side. Thank you. See you at the exhibition area.
Thanks, Bhaskar. Before you go, we were talking this morning and you mentioned that you're doing some work in Australia with the product.
Yeah.
So you already have an international focus, which is amazing, but what's next for SATA? Where are you off to next?
So basically, we have done the first or the initial parts of the business process in terms of customer contact center actually being able to take the request on the map itself. They can create the jobs from the map, as in they don't have to just keep piling the request on the map becoming the front end. They can actually feedback to the customer who's calling to say that there is already a job request, and they can feedback. The second part of it is the scheduling. Now we are working on the mobile application, where the field crew actually can perform the job on this, and also an element called as auto scheduler, where for a driven planning window, the auto scheduler runs in the cloud, and the schedule is already available for the scheduler to only do take any corrective actions.
All right, thanks, mate. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, Rajath. So I'd like to introduce now our second company that's going to just give us a quick demonstration of their technology today, and it's Hyperverge, and Rajath will be coming to the stage. He's going to be talking about their HyperSat product, which was pitched as part of the Geo Innovation Program. I personally think this is amazing technology based on artificial intelligence and imagery exploitation. Clear applications in utilities, as you'll see, but I think when you really put your mind to it, the use cases for this technology are unlimited. So, you all set, Rajath? Right to go.
Thank you, Brett. And first of all, a huge round of gratitude for SE for giving me this wonderful opportunity to present before all of you today. In interest of time, I'll just go through everything quickly. So at Hyperverge, what we are is an artificial intelligence company headquartered in Palo Alto and our India offices in Bangalore. And our core expertise is in analyzing massive amounts of images, videos, and documents, and then developing very high accuracy solutions on top of them, no matter what domain we take up. We started off as the Computer Vision Club of IIT Madras, taking up a lot of student research projects, dabbed a little in deep learning, raised a round of investment from NEA, and in 2017, we opened up our platform and started working with a few exclusive partners. This basically gives a snapshot of the kind of work we do and the kind of domains we handle, satellite imagery being the primary focus for the company. We also work with security feeds, whether it's from CCTV cameras or mobile phone cameras for a lot of smart city projects with face recognition. The third area is with respect to documents, where we work with mortgage documents, US healthcare documents. And in each of these cases, our USP is to be able to deliver the highest accuracy, or at least the top 3 accuracy solution in the world in the problem that we take up. Today, I'll be talking about Hyperverge Satellite, which is essentially an end-to-end platform in order to analyze satellite imagery and derive insights on top of it. We have 3 main technology modules in this. The first is object detection, which is being able to identify your objects of interest, whether it's your power transmission lines, whether it's your cell phone towers. The second is semantic segmentation, being able to differentiate between different land use, land cover use cases, whether it's your roads, vegetation, different types of crops, whether it's corn, maize. Once you've identified your assets or infrastructure, the next step is with respect to change detection, which is the third module out there. I'll just give a small context of the problem or the business use case. So across industries, especially for utilities, asset identification and maintenance becomes a huge problem. And a lot of these processes are currently manual. Another process which is done is with respect to damage and disaster analysis. Say you're an electric utility. You always need to keep track of the vegetation encroachment around your power lines. Say you're a cell phone tower company, you need to do the same. And as Mr. Deshpande rightly pointed out before, doing this manually costs a lot of money, and it's time consuming and cumbersome. And artificial intelligence is able to drive down the cost from 10x to 1 to 1.5x. So I'll give you a brief demo of the object recognition part of it. This is where we analyze satellite imagery in order to extract objects. So this was our work with the world's second largest energy consulting firm. So they wanted to shift a lot of their revenue from consulting margins to a platform-based subscription model where electric utilities can come in and be able to have a view of the grid, of their own grid, their competitors' grid, as well as surrounding infrastructure, whether it's with respect to roads, vegetation, also basically all the steps end-to-end from asset identification, management, and maintenance. So this was in a small area in Amarillo around Texas, which I'm allowed to show you today. So all of this process was automated, and the process was cut down from a manual process of 8 months to a matter of 18 hours. So the 3 different colors you see are 3 different kinds of towers. The next step is with respect to smart routing. So a few key points to note. Within the small area, we had an accuracy of 99.5%, and that is where the power of AI really kicks in. And 16,000 towers were detected within this region. This project is being scaled across Texas, and the next step is to take it to the entire US. So this is an example of how the platform will look. This is the rudimentary version without the roads and everything because it's still under confidentiality. So this you can see is a tower that is detected. So any utility that logs in can see all the grid, and after that they'll also have value-added information with respect to what are the voltages of each of these lines, what has been the price trends with respect to each of these utility companies' grids, and what is the road infrastructure. So this was the Texas part. I'll equipment in and do it. A slightly different example would be, say, I'm Unilever, and I want to come in and figure out where to set up my new chocolate processing farm. Then I can come onto the platform, log into the platform, and get to an end-to-end solution right from which are the areas where the cocoa production has been the highest based on multispectral imagery-based crop yield analysis. Then figuring out where the best place to get power sources would be. And again, with respect to the road infrastructure, getting information with respect to which would be logistically, which would be the best use case. So this was basically a quick run-through of HyperWord Satellite. And once again, thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Brett.